Alrighty, let's see. Test. Let's make sure microphone is the right. Very nice. Okay, cool. Na 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 na. What do we have here? We have that. Cool. We have this stuff. Great. Cool. What the fuck happened here? What? What the hell happened here? Chica, hey man, how you doing? Let me just take a look at something. Something kinda... What the fuck happened here? I have no idea. Something farted out. Like, what is this? What? What happened with this? What happened with our front end? That's so weird. Wow, okay, let me try restarting that. That's super weird. So strange, so strange. What? Yeah, this is wrong. Like, what happened here though? Huh. Wow. Oh, okay, what? I'm seeing a mobile site. What the fuck is happening, dude? Something got super messed up. Yeah, we're seeing like the mobile version on the desktop version. What? What the heck happened here? Is it my browser or something? So weird, my dude. What? Nice, man. That sounds cool. That sounds very cool. What happened here, dude? That is super weird. What did we commit? What did I commit? Give me 1 second. What the actual heck happened there? Something messed that stuff up. Let me see what are the changes. Tailwind CSS. Nah, it's not that one for sure. I suppose. Wow, that's so weird, man. I think I had like some hook like this. Wait a minute. Where is that evaluated? App. Upcoming events, dashboard. Meetups. Yeah, none of that is the cause of this. So what is it? Services. Nah. Use infinite, use image upload, forms, SEO. It's not that for sure. Rating, dashboard list, nah. Yeah, so what the hell caused this? Give me a second. That is absolutely weird. Do I have like Firefox or something installed in this computer? Let me see. No, it's still fucked up there. Cranberry, my friend. Thank you for coming, dude. Thank you very much for coming, man. That's awesome. In 1 second, something got messed up here. I'm super confused. Didn't want to start the stream this way. Absolutely didn't want to start the stream this way. So weird, man. What the hell? Something got messed up with this branch, I believe, or something. We'll see in a moment. But certainly didn't want it to start this way, dealing with this garbage. What the fuck is that, man? Rolex, thank you very much for the follow, man. Appreciate it. Let's take a look at that. So it has to be this media query that's failing, right? Thank you very much, guys. It has to be this, right? I suppose. It makes absolutely no sense. But let's take a look at that. That's so weird, man. That's not something I want to work with. Is mobile false? Yeah, that's correct. So why is this messed up? Is it some regression after cleanup? Is mobile, is authenticated, mobile navbar. So, but it is loading the mobile navbar. That is the irony of it, no? Let's take a look at that. That's super weird, man. Wow. Okay. Let's just smack some random text in here. Rita, hi there. Thank you for coming. Yeah, this is mind-blowing. What happened? This is some regression that I introduced. What the hell? That is absolutely weird. Never seen this before. Wait, let me try this. Yeah, I haven't streamed in a very long time. I think I came back to stream casually like maybe a week or two ago. I've been on a trip last week. Very good, very good. Now we are 4. I got another child. So now we're 4. We have a Nikolai who is 6.5, and now we have another baby that's 3 months old. So that's thank you very much. Thanks. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Yeah, that's the only new thing. By the way, give me 2 seconds. Just something's weird, and I didn't wanna start the stream doing this random shit. Okay, so we are actually. So that is happening. So that's super weird, man. Okay, what happened in the meanwhile? Okay, actually, this shouldn't really have been commented out. That has nothing to do with this. So what happened with our navbar, man? That's if it's not this, use the navbar, right? And Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Okay, look, actually, I don't care about this for now. This is some regression I have in a new PR here, so we'll fix that. Actually, it doesn't really matter. I want to do what I'm doing. I'm extending our local Docker Compose now with some error reporting tool. So we're gonna focus on that a bit and then get back to meetups. I actually don't care much about this. This is fine. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Some regression somewhere, something silly. I actually doesn't really matter. It's some silly thing somewhere. Like, actually, know what? Let's just try one thing. Nah, that's actually not what I wanted. Let's nuke this. Let's stop this container. Let's remove it. Actually, you know what? Let's go to our... Nah. Let's go to our infrastructure project. Let's just stop. Let's kill all... Let's just run our shell script to kill all the containers and stuff. Yeah, Chica, we know each other for too long now, man. Yeah, let's just nuke them and let's run them again. And then actually, I don't care, honestly. This is something silly. We're not gonna be banging our head against that. But yeah, let's see. Let's just rerun these containers. I want to do... So what we're gonna start the stream today with is adding the glitch tip. This is basically a free version of centric.js. Of course, we already have Prometheus and Grafana and all of these things. What I'm actually trying to do for now in our current setup is simplify that a little bit. We're not using telemetry and any complex types of things, so I think it's a massive overkill. This is like this product is an open source version, you could say, under quotes, of centric.js if you ever used it. So we're gonna actually add this now. I already kind of have it as part of my Docker Compose setup. It actually already works. I have a etcd alias locally and stuff, so you can see it's here. So we're gonna kind of add that, make sure it works, and then we're gonna proceed with the meetup. So you can see projects. So yeah, so we already have some projects and etc. Yeah. This is obviously just for a local host. I've already kind of installed it in our API, so we're actually gonna go. So actually, I don't know what the product of this was. If this is still broken, fine. I don't actually care. Yeah, this is still broken for some reason, but for now, I don't care. And thank you guys for your follows. Okay, so let's go to our Fastify API, right? Somewhere, as you can see here, I have. So this is our kind of where we create a Fastify instance. We create an instance and then we initialize a bunch of things like decorators, plugins, and stuff. This is a SendGrid key, but here, as you can see, we have set up Sentry, and essentially here we have a couple of things. And we also have the Sentry DNS over here. So what I'm going to do, just for the sake of this stream, and then I'm going to clean this up, I'm going to, instead of passing an env, because I don't want to be sharing environmental variables on the stream, let's just hard code this, of course, and then as when I finish the stream, I'll kind of fix that up and stuff. We don't actually care. So in theory now, that's basically the only thing you need. As you can see, interesting thing about this open source version is that they're using centric.js's original SDK. So you can see I've installed their SDK, and I'm just kind of the DNS itself. DSN, sorry, has nothing to do with the DNS. It's just your local glitch tip thing. Okay, so if we take a look at our API logs now, so if we just use the UI here, so everything's fine. So now in theory, like, we should be connected to our local instance. For some reason, we'll need to check how do they do the sessions. This seems to be like it seems to me that they're doing session-based authentication, which is why whenever we restart the server, that session is cleared from memory. We can actually check that if there's any JVT. I don't think it's a JVT because the behavior feels weird. yeah, as you can see, this is the I hate session-based authentication for many reasons, especially in the Node.js world, because you have to scale it. Then you would have to store this session somewhere in Redis instead. But anyway, we don't care about that. So if this in theory worked, we could like throw an error directly from our API and see if it works. So what we could do, I could go to some user's endpoint, right? So you go to user router. I found our endpoint where our user, like a /me or whatever, I think I have /me or something like that. Yeah, here it is. And then there, you know, I can just throw an error. The alternative to session-based authentication is basically is using JSON Web Tokens. So you have a stateful and stateless authentication, right? And really, what I personally prefer is stateless, basically. Or you could even say sessionless, right? So you would use JSON Web Tokens, JWTs, for that, right? Okay, so now if I actually go to the product refresh, we should get an error from trying to get a user that's correct. And now in theory, we should be getting some events. I hope we need a way to debug this, right? Like, you can evaluate, yeah, I mean, so of course, again, as I always say, there's benefits and there's pros and cons to everything, right? So of course, sessions are way easier to invalidate because as long as you kill that session, it's invalid. JSON Web Tokens are different. You have to do JSON Black Token blacklisting. So you literally need to say, hey, the only way to invalidate the JSON Web Token, because JSON Web Tokens have expiry time on it, which is the only thing that evaluates if the token is valid or not. You need to, like for Programmer Network, I invalidate JSON Web Tokens by putting them in Redis. I have like a Redis hash that's called blacklist whatever, JWT blacklist. So yes, you're absolutely right. Session-based authentication in that sense is a lot simpler. But I don't mind blacklisting tokens. That's fine, right? Rebecca, my friend, good morning or good afternoon. Okay, but we need now a way to kind of shoot an error somewhere, right? And let's actually go into, let's go, okay. Yeah, I mean, that was actually fine, yeah. So this was fine. But this now propagates. So now the core question is, when we set this up, right, set up Sentry is, let's see, because maybe we handled that error before. So we initialize it, add Fastify hooks for automatic error tracking. But do we actually, does this even happen? So if we go to the product, wait, if we take a look at the API logs here, yeah, we're actually looking at them already. If I refresh this, okay, so we are actually getting there. So we are getting in here, right? Sentry with scope. Okay, so let's print the user. So let's kind of follow this end to end now. So set up Sentry. Yeah, here it is. We do get the user. Beautiful. So it's deserialized and put on a request object. And then we have this Sentry with scope, which is some sort of a, I guess it creates some, it encapsulates that request or whatever. Then we have a scope. And then we have capture exception. So let's see if we actually ever capture that exception or not. And then we need to ensure that in our Docker Compose, we can actually communicate between these services. Maybe that is the problem, right? So let's just say here something like dog, cow, cat, just so we can kind of easier find that error, right? Okay, let's refresh again. Is there any error with the dog? Let's try that again. Yeah, okay, so here we have a dog, cow, cat. We get some stack trace, right? Which is very good, very useful. This error would be perfect for us to capture because we just need to know that they're... Okay, so technically Sentry has captured this exception now. So again, in theory, we should see some issues in here, which we do not yet, but that's okay. because maybe there's some networking issue. Yeah, I don't see anything, even though there's something off in here. Like for these filters, no matching filters. Start date. Issues stats, okay. So yeah, we're actually getting no issues, okay. If I go to projects, nodejs, sure. We have the DNS here. If you initialize open source entry with the environment, it will tag events with blah, blah, blah. This is also useful, so we'll kind of learn about this stuff, right? But if we go back here, is our DNS correct? Yeah, it is, so that's correct. Environment, development, enable true sample rate, centric traces sample rate. Only initialize if enable and DSN is provided. Century glitches are the same. Okay, so we do we actually get these errors? Okay. Let's just restart that so we can kind of see, do we even get oh yeah, because maybe we have wait, we're local now. Let's go to our app. Where is the here is the config instance, level info, enable true. Serializers correct. Yeah, I mean I have custom serializers as well, which could in theory kind of be problematic maybe here a little bit, because I kind of serialize these errors a little bit different. Let's try to do the minimum here. So in fact I would go as far and say let's comment out my whole logger object and let's kind of make sure we use the default, because this could kind of interfere with so let's kind of have a clean slate there. So we do this again, dog cow error, sure. Yeah, so what I'm not seeing though is that we ever get to this point here. Actually app log info, let's just use the regular console log. Okay, so Sentry glitch tip initialized for environment development. So we did get here, then we added the hook, then the scope, then we do capture it. Okay, so with that said, technically everything should be working now, right? But I actually don't see anything sent here. So we have networking is correct. Let's take a look at our traffic labels. Correct, entry web, network frontend. I wonder if this potentially is wrong, right? Yeah, let's use the AI. I've been chatting about this a lot with it. This seems wrong, as I will be using glitch for both API and the front end, but the network there is only set for. No, actually, nah, that is actually correct. Never mind. That is in fact correct. This is just describing the service we exposed, right? And the only other thing that I could think about is, okay, let's actually try one thing. So let's go, let me create a project manually. So I'll just say here node. There's also express, but let's just create it the test project default theme, sure. And then let's try this DSN instead. Okay, that's good. Well, at least it exists to some degree. Okay. I'm gonna see if there's anything in the logs here, right? Or for the worker that they expose, because I would expect this is just a web UI, and this is the worker that probably gets some logs, right? So yeah, so actually we are getting some log task dispatch checks, yeah. Let's take a look at the database. I guess somewhere in the database for this thing, we should have some events. November, what is this? 25th November. What is the date today? Today's 2nd of November, right? Yeah, I don't see anything in the database. Issue event, tag, organization, blah blah, performance, transactions. Yeah, that we don't care about. Project, uptime monitor, uptime users. Yeah, we do have some users, obviously. Django admin log. Nah, nothing. Type, no. Auth permission alerts. Okay. We need to debug. Let's try the AI. So I can see that we get to a point of capturing the exception, but I see no errors in our web UI. Yeah. Ah, exactly. So it is something not working. Yeah, related. Yeah. Yeah. What? Oh yeah, that's actually true. Yeah. That is actually true, but it has nothing to do with that. Interesting. Okay, let's try that. I think it will work actually. Let me just close some of these things. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, I think it's gonna work. Yeah, we'll need to restart our containers and stuff. So let's go here. Let's grab this fella. let's set this env back to this. Sample rate is fine. That's also fine. It's also fine. Yeah, we can do this, but irrelevant, we'll probably need to revert. Then if we go to our Docker compose, and then we'll need to use the container name and then the port, right? So that's fundamentally the difference. But nothing you wrote will fix it. Where did you use? You're absolutely right. Oh, shut the fuck up, man. Jesus Christ. Don't tell me that I'm right, man. I know that I'm right. Yeah, of course, man. Of course he did. Of course he did. Of course he did, right? Of course he did, right? Of course he did, Yo-Yo. Why not, right? As long as he can describe what he wants, he can do that. Yes, that is clear, right? So let me. I need to just focus here a little bit, guys. Sorry, because this doesn't tolerate mistakes. This is just infra now at this point. So and then we'll need to convert some of this into our like Helm chart or Kubernetes YAML files. It's gonna inherit this. It's gonna override the Sentry DNS. Exactly. Edit project keys. Add your. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't like how AI wrote this. This fucking sucks ass. I mean, sure. Yeah, sure. We can try that, but yeah, I'm not super keen on this. Yeah, no, it fucked up here. But that's not true. Some of these are in fact... No. You're right. Come on, bro. Oh, I see. Okay, well, it is technically right. Okay, never mind. Actually, I agree with it. It is right. It is right. It is right. It is actually correct because they are not indeed used outside of Docker Compose. Yes. Okay, so let's. This is fine. Let's just group these a bit better, like this. So let's go and get the API one. Let's grab this one. No, this is fucking terrible, man. Jesus Christ. That is absolutely terrible, man. Yeah, that's really bad. Can we not segregate or whatever these and so much? It's absolutely terrible combining all this together. Can you just simplify it and ensure we pass the entire yeah, really bad. It's like looking at a junior making these decisions. And I'm absolutely right. Yeah. Perfect. Much simpler now. No shit, man. Come on, bro. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Wow. Okay, that's calm down, man. Jesus Christ. This AI kind of gets very overly excited there. Calm down, man. It's fine. All right, that's kind of wrong, right? Do we? Yeah, we need to restart that bad boy. Okay, cool. Let's take a look at that again. Nah, that's still wrong. Processing. Yeah, that's kind of still wrong. Sentry. DSN, yeah. Okay, all right. Well, I guess we need to start the shell script because it's gonna source the new envs, right? So that's most likely why, because this way we're not sourcing that file. So most likely that is the issue. Let's see now. Sure. Yeah. Let's take a look at the logs again. And now, yeah, they're correct. Now the question though is, are we gonna send any errors or not? Let's do that again. Let's refresh. We should we're explicitly throwing a 500. And then issues, there we go. Jesus Christ. Okay, let's see. Very nice, man. There we go. We have a centric.js for free. And we get more or less pretty much what we get there. So nice, man. Yes, let's go. Okay, very, very good. Very good, very good. Okay, so it was a networking issue in Docker, essentially, because these two guys have to communicate between each other, right? So essentially the trick was... oh, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot, dude. So you can see this did the trick, right? Because we need to use the host that's accessible within Docker network. So we had to say, hey, send these errors to something that you can actually communicate with, not with our web server, which makes absolutely no sense. Of course, dude, my pleasure. Thank you for being here, dude. That's yeah. Glad that yeah, you find it to some degree fun or whatever. I really appreciate that. So yeah, this is awesome, man. I really like this. This is cool. This is really like, so we have Prometheus and Grafana and Loki and all of that, but really what we need is something like this, right? And we're gonna add the same to our UI, and then we have centric.js for free hosted in our own infrastructure, and then eventually we're gonna, of course, convert this and host like the rest of the things on our Kubernetes cluster here in my home data center, as I call it. Very, very good. Okay, so at least, so we figured that one out. Now we need to clean up a bit. So let's see actually what, so we have the API working and that's perfect. Gonna have to do the same for UI. Yeah, these comments are absolutely useless. I think what would be useful for us all, right, is to understand the performance implications of some of these things, such as HTTP integration, right? Because of course, profiling, tracing, and stuff adds a lot of extra stuff to your API. So for every request or whatever so we would need to. This is also useless, pretty useless comments. And let's see what we include. And the good thing about this, very awesome thing about this, is that we include the scope. Let's actually see if this scope is in fact somewhere here. It's like, I want to know who experienced this error, which of my users actually failed. And let's see if, because without this information, so of course we don't want to include any PII data, right? Any personally identifiable data, at least not for the sake of data breach or whatever, but I do need to know who the user is. So even if I only include the user ID, then I can, okay, so let's see. So this is what happens. So you can see we have these breadcrumbs, and I suppose essentially you can see these are the brackets. So we just read that. So it says the HTTP integration instruments nodes internal HTTP and HTTP modules. It creates breadcrumbs and spans for outgoing HTTP requests, which will be attached to the currently active span, and then we get them here, right? So that's pretty awesome. Is it useful? Well, time will tell. If it's not useful, then it's better to be disabled, because again. But yeah, user reports, comments merged. Okay, I just don't see exactly the information that I care the most about, which is the actual, hey, which user has experienced this, right? I'm either blind. So we get the user, we get some of the browser information. Sure, we know, hey, this happened in Windows and Chrome. I get a cookie, which is, ooh, yeah. Yeah, not something we should be sending. Is that explicitly set here? So we have the set context request. Scope set user. Let's see, scope set user century. Let's see how are we supposed to use this. So this is awesome, right? I've actually used this at the company where I work. You can really set any tags, right? Now, I suppose the set user, really what this thing does is just an abstraction over this. So most likely what they do, if we would go and read the source code of this library, is they probably just use set tag, and then for each, so they create for each value in the that you pass here, they append to the same tag. So they say set tag my tag, and then they keep appending these. That's what I would do at least, right? Give me 2 seconds, and then we'll see why that isn't appearing there. It should be, but yeah. Okay, cool. But let's see. That's good to know. Using with scope. Okay, in the following example, to attach a level and a tag. So, and how are we doing it? Set context. So we have with scope, we have a hook. Sure. Yeah, that's kind of what we're doing as well. Yeah, because we're kind of scoping it here, right? So yeah, so that fundamentally should be working. Yeah. Is there any user data, user agent? You can see the raw. No, there isn't. And here are the tags, right? So that's a little bit weird. So I'm not actually sure. Or maybe this is the, okay, so maybe this is the limitation actually of this glitch tip, right? We have to understand as well that this is not one-to-one replacement, right? So this is an open source version. But we can see here that there's tags, right? So we can maybe try doing that. So instead of using, we can say, you know, set tag or whatever, and then kind of do this. Yes, yeah. I think this is fair enough, right? And we're gonna, I mean, I hate that this is gonna be 3 different tags, one below the other, but let's try that at least. It's better than nothing. And then we can, let's refresh so we can kind of log in again. And then we see, yeah. And then let's cause this error. We could also use, you know, some HTTP library for that, but doesn't matter. And then if we go back here, 8 minutes ago, okay, we should have gotten a new one, to be honest. Let's see. Yeah. Seen 16 seconds ago. Okay, good. Is there like some sort of a... Because I would expect here under tags to see it. Let's try one thing. Let's go to /me again. Let's find that place where we're explicitly throwing an error. Let me call it something differently. And now the session is killed, so we'll need to, session is clear, we need to log in again. To go back here, we need to refresh this. Let's see how smart or dumb it is. We should be seeing a new error now. Yeah, here it is. And yeah, I don't actually see the new tags though. Unless the user is undefined, but that would be hard to believe, right? Let's print the user. That makes absolutely no sense. I have a hard time believing that. So let's log this. let's just trigger that error again. So yeah, so actually we do have a user. Let's actually grab that string. And then if we go here and print it, so we do have a user. Oh, so this is the problem, right? What? Never mind, actually, it's fine. So this is good. We have a username. We have... Okay, so we only have a username, though. We don't have an ID. No, we have an ID. What the hell? And then what else? We actually don't have an email there. Okay. And that's okay, actually, because I don't serialize the email when you log in because of security reasons. So that's good. But this is really what we need, these two values. And then because we can clearly see that this is deserialized JSON web token, so we get these expires at. I think this is like initiated at or created at, something like that. Okay. So this technically should be working, I guess. Let's say here or banana. And let's say here or apple. Just for fun. Okay. Let's trigger this bad boy again. Let's refresh and re-log in because of that annoying session. Let's get back here. 7 seconds ago. Still nothing under tags. Yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah, I mean, we now... Okay, actually, but we need to be a bit smarter here. Let's read their documentation, right? Because centric length integration, error tracking. Because essentially, right, it has to be here. So let's say, what are we using? Like nodejs or whatever, JavaScript, nodejs, yeah. We're just using nodejs. Yeah, this is kind of useless, okay? No help there. Now, okay, we can actually use this with Grafana, so that's good to know, but we don't care. Creating blah, blah, so... Okay, let's maybe also ask the AI. I mean, it would be silly not to ask it. So, these tags never seem to appear in our web UI. Let's see, maybe it has, well, it certainly has more data than us, so let's just see if it's any, yeah, helpful. Actually, there is no to do and fix me in my code. In every single project I have a pre-commit hook, so I don't even allow that. So if I go to like my Husky or whatever, if we take a look at, I don't know, where is it? Like if you take a look at the Husky, there's a step here that doesn't allow to do's and fix me at all. So if there's any in the code, it's you can't commit. Jigdev, hey buddy, how you doing, my friend? Thank you for coming, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, let's try this thing. Of course, we need to restart this, our container, and we will. And yeah, we need to trigger this bad boy again, and then we need to go to the issues again. Yeah, that kind of sucks, man. Like, dude, we need that information so badly. We need that information so badly because we need to know who got an error, right? So don't tell me that that's not possible. It has to be possible. Wait, it would be crazy that these glitch tip custom tags, tag stats, new random, blah blah. Yeah, it's basically like a open source free thing like centric.js. Yeah. So this is actually useful because we are using like Cloudflare R2. So we'll be this is also, we can utilize that for this, but actually I don't care about that. I don't care about social login at all. I don't give a crap about any of this. Neither of this. Yeah, it's meaningless, right? We need to know why. Yeah, makes no sense. I would expect to see them here on the right side, right? That's kind of where you would see them in Sentry. So let's see what the AI says. All right, let's do what you suggest. Yeah. I don't really care much about this. This already looks correct to me. This is stuff we're gonna configure once and most likely never touch again. So I don't want to spend much time on this at all. It's meaningless in so many ways. This is typically supposed to be, plug and play essentially. So it's now, but now we're not really working with Sentry. We're working with this, and these guys are using Sentry's SDK. So of course there's going to be mismatch in what's available in this thing versus that, right? So we can't assume that, yeah. Yeah, these comments are so useless. It's almost offensive when I read them. It's literally like holding my phone in my hand and then putting a label on it. You're holding your phone in your hand. It's really, really like verbose in that sense. It makes absolutely no sense. Okay, triggered that. Yeah, that is yeah. That is a bit weird. Let me trigger like a unique error now, because when we've added all of this stuff just for fun. Let's refresh that. Why not use Sentry? I don't know if Sentry is actually free. Sentry, I think it's not. Let's see. Maybe it is. Uh-huh. Where does glitch add value? I mean, it's mostly, it's very lightweight. And they both do the same thing. So they add value at the exactly same thing. So they're exactly the same thing. And they do the same thing. So you can see this is absolutely tragic, right? So this is where it adds, right? So this is so this product is so highly inefficient that it's a tragic, right? If you need 4 CPU cores to run this crap, then whoever built it should be fired instantly. It needs 16 gigs of RAM. Like, they recommend 32 gigs of RAM. So literally, whoever built this has done very poor job. This is absolutely tragic. You can run a video game on these specs, right? It's, so that's why. Yeah, highly inefficient. Highly. I mean, and yeah. That is just how it is. Let me not shit on other people. I don't like doing that. No point in doing that. But yeah, that is very bad. That is very bad. And you know, it's a very old platform that evolved in a wrong direction, it seems, over time. So that is unacceptable, right? Okay, so one thing that I already see that we potentially can remove from this setup are these breadcrumbs. Let's read a little bit about them. Let's understand what they are, because I'm at this point in time. Actually, they will, I believe, be useful, because now we don't have any. I see what's happening because I keep like generating the same breadcrumbs because I save, I refresh, so we keep doing the same things. But I think they will be useful. Yeah. They will be useful when we actually want to see how user interacted with the. Thank you very much, guys, for your follows. I appreciate it. So no, breadcrumbs are actually useful. So the only thing that I keep failing now at is, yeah, I'm not sure. And let's see, glitch tip tags. Is there any docs? Wait, let's try to ask ChatGPT. Does glitch tip supports tags? Kind of terrible name, but please check. I'm not talking about searching by tags, but rather attaching additional data, user data, to errors so we can render them, view them in the web UI. Yeah, so that's correct. Yeah, what we're doing is correct. Set extra. What the hell is set extra? Set extra. Set a single value extra entry that will be sent as extra data with the event. Let's try. I actually don't care if they're tags, to be honest. I mostly care if we can send this data, right? So where it appears there, I don't actually care at all. It has zero significance to me. So let's just try to see if we can make it work, right? Because where they appear and blah, 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 I actually don't care at all. So even if they appear somewhere on the bottom or in between some of these things, that is also awesome. Headers, host, app, culture. So yeah, so these are actually probably sent somewhere with the capture exception. Maybe this. Okay, interesting. Okay, let's try that. Because I think you can see that here we have, I suppose, query, blah, blah, method. Do we actually have the method somewhere? Okay, let's try that. Let's try that as well. Let's refresh, let's see what happens. This session is really annoying, but that's what it is. 6 seconds ago. User agent, nah. Data pass is completely normalized. You can also pass null to unset and context. Note that context data will not be merged. Calling set context will overwrite an existing context. Context. Interface, context, share, response, trace, stats, profile, flags, device. Okay, I see. Okay, I see. Let's try this, because I'm just poking around with what this SDK supports, and then we're gonna smack it somewhere. Again, it doesn't matter, we just need to find a workaround against this open source tool, right? So where it gets attached, no one cares, as long as we get it somewhere, right? And that's the problem, man, like none of them work. Environment, server name, So we've just attached the app as well. Is there anything else that we can try? Let's also maybe go here. Banana air. Let's try that as well. Just so we throw a new one. Let's refresh that. Refresh again. Do this. Do that. Banana air. Sure. Debian whatever. Yes. Oh, by the way, nodejs 25 has been released, so we'll need to upgrade that. Yeah, I read this morning. So the JSON stringify is way more performant and some bunch of other improvements. So actually, I followed this guy from the ECMAScript committee, sorry, from the Node.js committee. So we'll need to do this as well, but let me just leave it open there, just so I don't forget about it. Jesus, man, I wish that these guys had some sort of documentation that showcases like what is possible. They don't. API documentation, hosted architecture. Okay. Yeah, these are API docs. I don't see how. List project issues. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so this is the payload of the issues, right? So this is what we get. Sure, display, get project display, blah, blah, blah. I suppose the metadata is some dynamic field, some JSON-B or whatever, where they inject all of that crap, platform, blah, 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 right? If I actually go back here, and we get this network, we'll take a look at this network request. Is there like user? Can we search for something like this? No, we can't. Okay. Tags, development, server name, OS name, top value. So these are the only tags we have. And how do they have, where was that, where was the, yeah, so let's see, tags, list tags. So there's only a way to list tags, right? Issue tag, schema, unique values, top values, name. And these are the only 3 tags we have for now, so we haven't created any. So that is kind of useless, you could say. Yeah, it is. This is the architecture of this thing. We don't care at this point. Installation guide, integrations, uptime on centric client integration. Centric client integration, yeah, but this is just merely a 2-liner type of shit, so... Glitch tip, Fastify. Let's see if community has created any. Let's try to also see. Is it this? Nah. Glitch tip, GitHub. Let's look at the GitHub issues. I'm kind of. getting out of ideas, to be very honest with you a bit. Custom tags. Tags. Maybe set tag. Yeah, I mean, I've used it with Sentry, right, as well, but not with this thing. That's the problem. In Sentry, it of course works. That is to be expected, right? For sure. But it doesn't work. Doesn't work with this, right? Ado, my friend. Hey, good man. How are you? How are you? Thank you for coming, man. Okay, yeah, I don't know, guys. I mean, I don't think we haven't really done anything wrong here. We haven't really done anything wrong per se. So we're gonna leave it as such and see. Let's see if there's anything other to poke around here. Yeah, man, likewise. It's been a long time since I've been around, right? So we're gonna set this context, and then on that context we're gonna. So yeah, yeah, fuck it. Let's just leave it there. I mean, right now, honestly, I don't know. I'll probably spend more time offline doing this. Let me just review this to make sure that I really like it. Yeah, okay, that is yeah, I mean, we have many projects, so you have to kind of tell me which one you care about. We have a bunch of libraries we wrote, we have an API, we have the front end as well, right? So we cannot go through all of them, but some we can, sure. All right, fuck this. Let's leave it like this. And let's go ahead and also implement this for our other project, right? So, and now, I mean, technically we don't really care much about the envs in that sense, but we do, right? So we'll need to implement the same for the UI, right, somewhere. So we don't really care much about that, but yeah. So let's go. Let's go to projects, let's go to front end, and it's gonna be the same more or less. It's just, of course, and then we need to figure out the alerts and stuff. This is for production. Yes, all of my projects are separated. Yes, I'm not using any sort of like these things like Next.js and that all of that garbage. No. So we have the React. Let's go back here. Let's go here. This is pretty much what we're gonna have to do, right? So let's just quickly tell the AI to do this for us, so so we don't waste time on copy pasting crap. Let's also implement. Yeah, let me finish some of these things and then we do that, because that's a long walkthrough, right? So for sure, but I need to finish this first, otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, as many times I'll leave the stream by actually not accomplishing anything. So, yeah. Okay. Yes, that's correct. Sure, we're gonna do that. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Martin, thank you very much for the follow, man. That's kind of you. Thanks, man. So we're gonna add the sentry now, and give me 1 second. My wife is cleaning my son's nose or something. So, all right, planning next moves. All right, it's planning. Okay, sure. Sure. We'll need to nuke that. Let me just. Okay. All right. Let me just stop it and say continue, even though we would have done it ourselves because it's very slow. Cursor Pro, yeah, I mean, of course, yes. These tools are paid by my company, so yeah. And if they weren't, I would be paying for them, so yeah. All right, let's validate this, that it's not complete and utter garbage. Glitch tip utils. Yeah, okay, that I agree with. Well, I mean, I can ask you the other way around. Why would I use Next.js? What for? Yeah, that is kind of fine. No, there's nothing to go again. I mean, it's a very valid question. But I think the question is illogical because it should always be asked the other way around, right? It's completely in reverse, right? Oh, I see. You don't know. Well, that's honest and fair. Well, I mean, yeah. Then giving you any source of response is kind of meaningless, right? Because you first need to understand the source of your question, right? So I want to give you the useful answer, not my own answer. But in order for you to be able to comprehend why, you need to first understand where your question comes from, right? Because there are many reasons why you should use some technology or not some other, right? So we don't ask questions in engineering like that, right? That's like saying why did you buy a hammer, not a jigsaw, right? So tools exist to solve different problems, right? And some tools exist just for the sake of existing. So yeah. So you first need to kind of, in order to become a good engineer, you need to, the most important thing to learn being a good engineer is being able to ask logical questions and being able to answer them based on reason and logic as well, not based on your preferences or emotions or whatever, right? So so it's hard to give you the response that you can technically. So questions about technology are answered based on requirements and based on common sense, not based on anything else, really. Okay, let's see about this crap now. So this should in theory be failing now because we don't have the glitching error tracking is disabled. Great, great, okay. So what we're gonna do, actually, let's go to our backend. Yeah, so let's actually revert this. So let's put it back as it is. Our UI is fucked here, but we don't care about that, so that should be working again. Yeah. If you go to programmer.network, there's no site on earth you can find that's going to work faster than that, I promise you. And the reason for that is because it's engineered in a logical way. So if you go to programmer.network, to our production system, right? Everything loads in almost more or less no time, right? And that is the whole point of building great experiences, is like, can I make my site to be as fast and accessible as possible? If you achieve that, then you have done a good work, right? And that's what my infrastructure does, and it has been doing it for every other project, right? And it is highly efficient in every possible way, from the networking perspective, database perspective, service perspective, microservice perspective, right? So this is what you want to achieve at all times when you're building a product, right? That should be your goal. Okay, let's go. It writes these shitty, crappy, useless readmes, but it doesn't matter. Okay, let's see what it did. So we'll obviously have to clean this. So what it did, which is nice, in fact, is it created some abstractions. So I respect that. And essentially, it's just making abstractions to ensure that it is, in fact, Ragnar Lodbrok, thank you very much for the follow. So this is fine. It's kind of, I don't think, I think most of this is unnecessary, because is this init synchronous or, yeah, so this init is synchronous, right? So let's ask this crappy AI, why are you writing these abstractions when century init is synchronous? Isn't it? You can organize any project in any way you want. That organization of your project has very little to do with the technology, right? You can organize your project in any way, shape, or form as you wish, right? Does that use React or whatever else? It doesn't matter, right? You can see AI is very good at writing a lot of code, but unfortunately most of this code that it writes is completely meaningless at times, right? So you can see I tell it, why did you write all of that crap? And it just apologizes and it's like, yeah, you're right. So this is unfortunate reality of it. AI is amazing. It's fascinating. You should always use it. It's badass, but also without proper monitoring of it and what it does, it can be deeply troubling. So if you're using AI, you should. If you're not, you're dumb. But you have to be the one who controls what it does, because it does way too much and it just does shit, right? Yeah, exactly. Customer is always right. Yeah. And it's writing these readmes. I mean, it's just fucking yeah. Okay, never mind. Let me not trigger myself. So do I really have an env file here in this project? I guess there should be some env file, right? It has to be. Let's see. Let's just remove these useless files that it wasted tokens on. So we have our course headers and stuff there. Interesting. actually, how do I deal with others? The fuck is that? I see. Okay, I see. Okay, that's kind of good. It's not absolutely terrible. Let's, of course, what we're gonna do, because we don't. Okay, so let's go back to this guy here, and that session has been cleaned. So let's do it like this, and so now we need to be careful with the Docker network, right? Because this guy, in fact. Yeah, we'll have to check that. We'll probably fail before we succeed, but it's fine. So we'll just do something like this. I mean, this will technically always be enabled, so let's not overcomplicate it here. We're gonna always have it enabled locally and... yeah. Also, that's wrong. Mode, what? Yeah, actually, that is correct. Sorry, my bad. All good. That is correct. Sure. Yeah, that is fine. Yeah. Okay, so technically, now. I don't know why these don't work. Programmer doesn't seem to have scroll bars when I visit using Firefox. Yeah, but why would you need those? Do you really need them? Because technically, I mean, you shouldn't need them. Or are you saying that this thing here for you, like, are you saying that this left side here is, are you on a super small screen or something, or on your phone? Okay, let me just move this here. Let's go to on PC. But is this not what you're seeing? What I'm seeing is this left side, like two, like what? How would I call it? Is it breaking the? Are you not? Are you, do what do you need to scroll for? Okay. Error from the U. I wonder now if we're actually capturing any of that. And this is going to determine that, so probably over here we'll need to change that a bit. Give me 1 second, just switching quickly to a env file here. 1 moment. Alright, so let me go back here. Let me put this bad boy here. Did we... yeah, one thing that I'm a bit skeptical about though is... Yeah, that's a little bit weird. I'm not sure that's the right way to implement this. Wait a minute. You need to scroll down to sign up. Okay, I will check that in a minute. Thank you very much for the heads up. We try that in a second. Let me just Let me create a button here that when I click on, yeah, exactly. And also I got something fucked up here locally. Let's just use our own button so we can actually see it. Okay. What? No, that's, yeah, actually, no, that is correct. Okay, it does work. Okay, there we go. It does work. Okay, good. So it does work in the UI as well. All right, good. That's very good. Okay, that's better. Awesome. Cool. Okay, so I'll not lose my sleep over this now. Let's leave it as is. I need to, of course, when it comes to envs and stuff, I need to do it offline. But let me clear it up a bit. Ah, never mind, that's already correct. Golang is an amazing language, yeah. I wanted to find something bad about Go, but I can't. Go is amazing, yeah. The only, maybe you could say, I don't actually think that's a bad thing, that's also a good thing, is that it's very, very static language in a sense of change. Their founders have a hard time accepting any suggestions for the language, which again, doesn't mean bad depending how you look at it. It's also great. So it's a very relatively small, simple, well-written language that, yeah, doesn't evolve much. And again, for most people, for these Golang enthusiasts, if you may, that's a feature, not a bug, right? So yeah. Now, of course, is that good for startup? That's a different question. You're asking a question in a very, that question can be answered in many ways, right? That depends where you are and where you're building a startup. What is the demographics of developers you're hiring? How much does it cost to hire a Go developer versus Node.js developer versus someone else? So that I cannot give you that answer. Would have to be, answer is a little bit more complex, right? Is Go a good language? Yes. Is React amazing UI library? Yes. Is that the best combo for your startup? Unclear, right? It's unclear because again, you have to think about when you want to start a business, the least crap you think about is programming languages. It's about, can we hire people for that? How expensive are they? How quickly do we build? Is there a community around that language? So Node.js, for example, is amazing, not because it's fast or slow or anything. It's because for every problem you nearly have a library that it can solve. And this is the type of language you want when you run a startup, right? That's the same reason why you don't want to build your API in Haskell, right? Or Rust or whatever, because you would be building tools, not product, right? So yeah, so you would have to figure out where do you live, how many Go developers are they, how many, there are some areas in the world where some languages are more dominant than others. Like in India or Pakistan, you have Java because they teach them Java at university, and IT school in India is free, so everybody writes Java. In Scandinavia, C#, .NET is very popular, etc., etc., etc. So the question is, not so easy. What the fuck is this, bro? What? 1 second. 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 1 Okay, so that's great. I think we kind of accomplished that more or less, which is awesome. Of course, my pleasure. Because again, one thing is building a hello world app at home and nerding about it and sweating. Building a business requires different questions to be answered, right? And these questions are all business related, not technology related. Because technology in most cases is absolutely irrelevant. The only relevance is, can I hire these people? Can they build quickly with it? And can we survive as a company, right? So I actually dislike that this is now coupled to this. It's not authenticated. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter, right? In most cases. Why are we asking this question? I mean, if it's not authenticated, so do we really need to ask for the presence of this? This will, and this is my like subscription. This is my push server, so this is something else. I kind of just dislike that we do it like this, but okay. Okay, great. So now we have our own version of little Sentry working on both ends. I'll need to kind of clean that up and ensure that I deploy it. And then deployment for the production system is going to be a bit different because, yeah, it's going to run behind the traffic reverse proxy, which means I'm going to add some basic authentication to that proxy so not everybody can access this online, right? And then also what we need to do now, and I think we could play with that, maybe we have these transaction groups as well and some of the profiling. I'll probably go ahead and eventually disable that because this is adding a lot of this definitely does, you know, slow things down and we actually don't care, but it can also be useful. Ladies, man, thank you very much for the follow. But what I'm actually very interested in is, does this really come with a proper alerts, right? Just like we had with Grafana and Prometheus. So you can see here there's project alerts, and obviously we want these alerts. And let's say we want them either via email or via Slack, for example, or Discord. So when a user, right, and this is typically what you would do. I wonder if they have something like that. So no, I mean, we have so Grafana and Prometheus typically are used for different types of things, right? Not for this. So Grafana and Prometheus are not, so these tools have different purpose, right? Typically this tool is only for error reporting, right? It's not for reading logs or for, of course, these tools such as Sentry have added some profiling performance metrics and stuff, so it kind of did get it to it. They were getting it closer and closer to let's say Prometheus and Grafana, but these tools have different purpose for me at least, and actually in general they do. So this type of tool typically you only want to use for error tracking. So error happened, it was stored somewhere. Now they're not mutually exclusive. From that moment on, you can get a like an error ID or something and correlate it in your log somewhere else. So, but this is what most people need, especially with projects that are not running businesses. You need something like this, right? Of course, if it's something really, really nasty, you need to then read more logs. You need to trace that to something else. But typically, like, you use something like this to yeah, hey, a user had an error. Let me see. Let me know about it and which user is it, right? So that's more or less what it is. Nothing else, really. But I wonder, though, I wonder if they have like Slack or Discord or something that we can. Okay, actually, they're webhooks. Very nice. Okay, very, very good. Okay, let's take a look at that, because then Yes, there we go. Okay, very good, very good. Okay, so there's a webhook, there's Discord, which is funny, and then okay, very good. So that's also good. So you can see very simple stuff comes with basically. So when you have these two things, you almost have what 95% of projects need. Like, I can capture the errors, and I can then notify myself or my team that that error has in fact happened, right? So that's it. That's really all you care about. And then, of course, Prometheus, Grafana, Loki, bunch of these things, right? Yeah, for sure. We're all using Slack for work and Discord for, yeah. But for this project, this whole community, I'm using Discord, right? So I also actually use it for all sorts of things in the context of Programmer Network, right? So, all right, so that's good. That's good. That's very good. That's very good. Okay. So let me go to what is this tool called? I forgot. It's called glitch tip. Okay. So let's let me just this is a glitch tip to do off stream. Let's see what I have to do. So let's say like this: clean up environmental variables, ensure that networking is properly working in production, ensure that our traffic is generating a valid SSL certificate, add an A record to Cloudflare DNS. That's what I've already done. Try more with custom tags and figure out if we can add them in the API. Correlate request IDs between front-end and backend, right? So when an error occurs, we can kind of correlate logs between the two systems, so we can know that this was like an end-to-end session of a single user. Ensure that basic auth is working in production for enable basic auth for the web UI and traffic. So this is what I've already done. Traffic will generate an SSL certificate. I have no doubts about that. Is there something else we're forgetting here? Logging is done in a different way, right? So my Fastify is using Pino under the hood, and it's obviously doing logging. But logging, it has nothing to do with this tool, right? Logging is a different thing, and I use Loki, and then so I'm using Loki with Prometheus and Grafana, and I'm basically doing I'm using log rotate. So I have seven files that I rotate. So basically, let me just put it this way. Let's just let me just draw it. I think it's easier if we draw it. So we have we have Loki, we have Prometheus, we have Grafana, right, for visualization. So this guy is less relevant than anything else. Then of course we have our Fastify Pino logger, right, written in C. And then we have a log rotate, right? Which is I'm sure you know it's a Linux binary, right? Log rotate is designed to ease administration of systems that generate large number of log files. So what we do, this guy generates some logs. We use Loki to store them into files. We use log rotate to rotate these files. Prometheus obviously exposes the metrics and stuff. And then we use Grafana to visualize them all, right? So in Grafana, we're reading these file logs, right? And then, as I said, their log, I think I have 6 or 7 files that I rotate, but you can have 4,000, like over a million. That depends on your use case. But this is very different, right? This stack is for different things. What we're doing today in this stream is just for error logging, right? Because you get this UI and it's so simple to maintain and stuff. Yeah, we also have this, I don't know what this uptime monitoring is, but this also actually seems pretty cool, right? We can also use this. So you can see this guy can actually ping our API, which, I mean, sure, why not? So you get also some monitoring with this tool as well. So this tool seems to me actually very useful for most projects, right? Because for most projects you would want something like this that you can set up in an hour on both ends, or any ends. If you have 20 microservices, then you set it up with every single one of them. But it seems like I wouldn't even say basic in a negative stuff. I would say it seems to be like a core thing that most projects would need. Okay, I think that's, so it kind of works now, so that's good, that's positive. And to be very frank with you, I don't know what some of their metrics are, so let's learn together. I don't want to just leave this random crap. Let's learn what some of these metrics are, so we are sure why they are set as such and that they will not cause performance degradation. This is what AI is amazing for. So let's see. Okay. Controls how many performance traces centric captures. Yeah, this can be very, very, very CPU intensive. Yeah, exactly. So if we would set this to 1, you would notice massive performance degradation, right? And do we have this only in the UI? Yeah, we also have it in the API. So what did we set it to? Ooh, yeah, that is fucking bad. Yeah, so you can see this is quite you can see like why is it important that you do this. You can see that our default actually here is 1, so it's gonna capture every single thing, and that is pretty bad. So let's not do that, right? So let's do this. If this is high and your traffic is large, it can absolutely introduce overhead. So of course our platform doesn't have high traffic, so that's fine, but still we don't need that. Browser tracking integration, purpose tracks page loads, route changes, API calls, impact, light overhead, consideration depends on your app scale and so this probably what it does. The abstraction of this is very simple. It's probably using some sort of an interceptor, something in the browser where they also use the console.time and stuff, and then they capture how long something is taking, right? So that I would expect the browser to be able to handle fairly efficiently, so that's fine. Capture a session, replay video of a user interaction. Yeah, that will be completely disabled. Where is this crap? Because we don't have that here. Yeah, that is absolutely terrible, and we will absolutely not be using that crap, okay? Luckily, I mean, I host my own infrastructure, so yeah, I don't pay for anything, but you're absolutely right. But I don't pay for anything. I have my own Kubernetes cluster here. Can we actually see it? Yeah, so this is our Kubernetes cluster. So yeah, as you can see, we have 4 Raspberry Pis, 3 mini PCs, and a bunch of awesome stuff. So this can handle a lot, and it's under quotes free. I just pay for electricity, which is not very much. Yeah. Replay on air sample rate. Thank you very much for the follow, man, and we're doing very well. How are you doing yourself? Okay, so yeah, we went through this and it's all fine. I'll clean these environmental variables up and stuff. That's not a work you want to do in a stream. So that is good. So, or as Germans would say, alles gut. Sehr gut. Yes. So that's cool. I'm happy with that outcome. Now we have under quotes free Sentry. So you could say there's more to play with this. Set up a couple of things, automate them in declaratively so that we don't. So whenever you do this type of stuff, note that no matter if it's Kubernetes, Docker Swarm, Docker Compose, whatever, try to always see if you can solve these things declaratively, right? Meaning you don't want to set this stuff up manually every time. So in simple words, we call it ClickOps. You don't want to do ClickOps. You want to do either, some shell scripts that that you can run as part of your Docker Compose or any tool you're using, or use something like Terraform or whatever to solve that problem, right? New to all this programming thing. Yeah, that's very good, man. Programming is very fun. It's like a video game, very, very similar to video games. You just have to grind it, but that's life in general, isn't it, right? So there's really very little difference. You're the main character. Exactly. Video games have less bugs. Emphasis unusually, for sure. Yep. All right, guys, that's great. That's super. That's great. Okay, that is awesome. It requires a bit more work off stream, of course, especially to deploy this to production. I need to do some testing and stuff, and then they're shutting down New World. Really? Are you kidding me? Wow, really, man? Are you kidding me, dude? That sucks. I loved this game, man. Wow, man, that sucks, dude. Yeah, I didn't know this. Wow. That is bad. I mean, we had so much we had so much fun in that game, Rebecca, when it came out. It's one of the most unique games I've ever played, and I mean, people can shit on it today, sure. But I think a very initial experience when it was so hard to level and stuff. Ah, man, that sucks, dude. And so many people bought the game, man, and now they killed it or something, so... Yeah, man, that sucks. Yeah, I haven't played it in a very long time. I mean, since you and I played together, Rebecca, I haven't. It's been several years, I believe. Yeah, that's a shame, dude. That's a shame. I mean, I love that game. I mean, I have nothing against it. I was hoping to play again one day. I was thinking... You remember when we played back together, I was saying, this is still in alpha, but in a couple of years it's gonna be good, so... All right, cool. Okay, before, how long have I been streaming? I guess I can do a bit more. 2 hours. Okay, we can go a bit more. Okay. It's decent now. Yeah, I don't know, man. That game is gonna be very hard for me to play again. At least, especially hearing this now, because when it came out, yeah, it was bugged and whatnot, but it was fun, man. Everybody was new and naked and stuff, and it was really unique game. It was a very much unique game. Today, I don't know. Let me try to. Something went off in one of the recent updates I've done. Let me just fix that, because UI now is broken. This is not how our platform looks like. So something got messed up in the process. I don't know what. I pushed something that made it like show this menu. This nav bar is messed up. Okay, let's take a look at the nav bar. Is mobile. Oh my god, Carex, hey there, I haven't seen you in a long time. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much for the follows and stuff. That's pretty nice. Okay, let's see what happened to this poor guy here. Something got super messed up recently. So did I change something in here or no, I haven't. Okay, that's weird. Okay. So then where is our nav bar used? Here. I'm so confused, dude. What did we do to cause this? What did we do to cause this? I mean, we could go to master, right, and stuff, but that wouldn't solve anything. Yeah, that's so weird. That's super weird. Okay, let's take a look at that. We have an open PR there, so maybe it can reveal some things. I mean, we could also ask the AI to help out, but let's see. So, I mean, I have nature of a stream as such. Unfortunately, we have a bunch of these things combined together and never commit features like this. This is not a good practice, just FYI. But time is limited and we need to do as much as we can. I mean, the only thing I can assume is that it was a dependency update. There's nothing else that indicates this. Okay, let me go back to this. So we have this burger crap. Okay. We have the nav bar. Where is it? Nav bar. Yeah. Let me just try some stuff out here for the sake of debugging. Okay, so yeah, that's gone. Sure. But that's not the problem. That's definitely not the problem. So we have a layout somewhere. Let's take a look at that. We have a... Okay, we've done this. Okay, let's see about that. Could it be this? All right, it is that. What the fuck, man? Okay, what? So it's the use thing that messed it up. Wow. Okay, that is super. Okay. Oh, it's the order that messed it up. Jesus Christ. Okay. All right. That's messed up. Okay. And now this works as well. Oh, super lovely. Yes, let's go. Nice. Okay. Wow, just that one line fixed a bunch of things. Okay, great. All right, that's amazing. That's super. Okay, badass. All right. Okay, let's see what we have here. There's a bunch of stuff. So what is this front? We have a bunch of these projects. Let's docs. Yeah, let's discard that. That's meaningless. Okay. So we've kind of integrated that. That fixed a bunch of crap. Beautiful. Yeah, this we need to log this version. So let's do that and reinstall again. So let's go to this. let's say pmpmi, so our pmpm log file gets updated. And actually, let's update the pmpm update. Beautiful. Let's try this again. Yeah, so there's some unmet dependencies, which is okay. This probably comes from our core library that we built, the UI library, so that's cool. That is cool as well. This is not cool, we can't do that, so we'll need to kind of use Yalk or whatever for this a bit better. Let me just think a little bit here. So we could fix this problem, the problem of hard coding file names like this. We could fix it by symlinks, right? So instead of manually needing to do this every time and I'm gonna forget and then I'll wonder why the hell my local version of the library isn't working as intended, what we could do, we could make this dev environment, so pmpm dev. So as you can see, I'm already setting these environmental variables for my Vita, so it kind of uses them. But this also is unfortunately necessary because we need to point to the actual files there. So what we could in theory do, hey man, cheers, thank you very much for coming, dude. Whenever you have the time and I'm live, please come. Okay, fuck that for now. I'll just, yeah, I'm not gonna actually do that, so I'm gonna nuke that, that's fine. I'm gonna leave that as is. And let's actually, are we currently linking to my local library? Let's see. Oops, what? Oh, we have sure, okay. So let me close a bunch of that stuff. Let's go to our core library here. Can I put a console log or something? Does that make any sense? Yeah, loaded, okay. Are we currently linking or not? Yeah, oh, beautiful, so nice, okay. All right, so what is the latest review? There's a bunch of things, Karix. There's a bunch of things. I'm trying to finish meetups, so when I stream, I can use it. So it's getting it's getting there. It's getting very nice. So so we're getting there slowly. Okay, yeah, this all works now. Nice. But it's not new features. It's just something that I wanted to do with that was there for a long time. It was just never actually finished. Okay, now we're gonna do a little bit of UI work now. So, so far we've been doing backend. Now we're gonna do a bit of UI though. Okay, so and we're gonna do that with the help of AI this time because I don't have much time and I want to finish some stuff. So let's make sure. Let's make our latest articles list component look more like the upcoming events. And then we're gonna have to, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. I need to deploy this to npm, this library, and so there's a. Nah, not really, Carrex. I haven't streamed in like 8 months or worked on this project, so I just came back. So, but it's a project that's gonna take many years, so it's fine. That is perfectly fine. Okay, let's see what this robot is gonna do. Okay. pmpm build. think that's maybe one of the downsides. I do believe we have to rebuild it when we make these changes, do we? Nah, not really. Or maybe it just didn't do what I asked it to do. Let's see. Latest article card, that's correct. Render empty state, also correct. Sure, but I think it's the borders that I wanted to remove. So this part from here is actually something that yeah, exactly. So that kind of sucks. Okay, I see what happened here. Okay, cool. All good. So let's just find this bad boy here. It's used here. Yeah, view all. Yeah, well, actually, I don't see it shown. Where is view all URL? Oh, I see. On article, on view all click. Yeah, it is actually there. So that's ironic. So where is the actual thing? Let's print this expression, and then let's see if it's actually, yeah, so show all view, yeah. So articles.length is max articles, yeah, but, oh, I see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, no, that's not true. Let's update that expression. So let's just say view all here, because that makes absolutely 0 sense. Cool. Yeah, sure. Let's coerce that into Boolean, so it has at least a proper value. Then there's some render prop there. Sure. Let's try commenting this thing out to see if it looks like that there. Let me just zoom in to oblivion. Are these two components the same? So this is a H2, okay. It's also an H2, but I don't think that they're the same. So let's actually make sure of that. Upcoming events. Upcoming events list. H2 maybe. Upcoming events list, yeah, sure. Ah, come on, man. Upcoming events. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of fucking dumb. And why are you writing these? Like, we have our own typography, so why is it not using that? Or maybe H5 or whatever. H5. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Do I have H6? Yeah, I do. Sure, okay. So we'll do that in the other place as well. Sure, there's really no ID, which kind of sucks, I guess, for the testing purposes. Because I guess our tests will fail now if we have them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So some of the tests will fail, so we'll need to update that, and that's fine. Area label, cool, latest articles, upcoming events. And this also should be an hyperlink. So I think we have anchor or something like that. Yeah, but shouldn't have a class name, because, yeah, that's dumb. Okay, wow, that's weird. Okay, let's go back here. Upcoming events. Yeah, I don't know. That's really weird. Okay. No, that's totally wrong, man. Totally wrong. What are you talking about, man? Are you crazy? And also like if I take a look at the, where's our anchor? Thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate it. So here it is, right? Yeah. Okay, so that's, wow, that's so weird. We're missing cursor, pointer, and links. That's crazy. Okay. All right, very good, very good. Okay, so that's kind of almost unified, you could say, except this is kind of big ass a little bit, right? So let's go back here. Okay. Do I have any, do we have stories for this? We do. Okay. Where's our library? Here, right? Yeah. So let's run the storybook and see how that looks like. Yeah. Let's open it up. What is this called? Latest something article list. Yeah. Okay. Here it is. Okay. So let's kind of look at it in isolation from the project. So custom title. No articles available. So this is the empty state. No posts have been published. This is the, okay, so sure. So the only thing we can see that with the skeleton, right, that the spacing is off. So let's kind of fix that. We need to ensure this is, of course, sure, yeah, that's okay, but right, we need to be a bit careful about that. So what we're gonna do instead, we're gonna return a div that where we interpolate these things, right? And then here we're gonna say class name is gonna have to be flex call gap 3 or something like that. It's gonna have to be the same gap as yeah, okay, and now that's correct. Okay, no posts have been published yet. Exact mag articles. Okay, single article without click handlers. Yeah, that makes no sense with class name. Okay, yeah, that's useless. Long list. Sure, page with all that. Okay. So that's good and very good. I'm fine with that. Let's so so the only thing we need to think about a bit now is this kind of too much information? So we have the author when it was written, but maybe the summary is kind of too much, right? Let's try removing that. And if we take a look at it here, yeah, I mean, kind of sucks ass a bit, right? Maybe one liner like this. Yeah, maybe. And actually what we haven't checked though is if we take a look at this on mobile, this is like very small, and I also zoomed in. Sure. Okay. Yeah, that is cool. Das is good. Is this actually clickable as a box? It is. Okay, cool. Okay, let's do the same with events. So let's search for events here. Upcoming events list, yes, great. So let's reset the viewpoint, good. Yeah, that is also good. I like it. I think that's awesome. No upcoming events. Yeah, the loading is fine. Twilight, thank you very much for the follow, appreciate it. The only question we could raise is like, should this be centered, right? This October 31st, should it stop? Should it be like, should all of it be top aligned, or should it kind of be justified, or actually, yeah. So that is the question to ask, but I think it's not bad. I actually don't know. Yeah, I mean, we also have to, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm also we're gonna clamp that to 1, right? Because I think we also have some sort of I hope we have some sort of a clamp as well. Empty message, show upcoming event card. Yeah, so we're gonna, we don't want to reveal too much, right? We want to make sure that this is kinda line clamp 1, line clamp 1. Yeah, so that's what I prefer. That's what I prefer. And if we ensure that, and actually one thing that we haven't checked there, right, is that if we take a look at the where's our dummy data, right? Let's we need to think about all possible states, right? Because we also need to ensure that you can't have a title, right? Of course we have limitation on how big the title can be, but also we probably want to clamp this title to 1-liner as well. So ideally, ideally we do, right? So we probably it is. I agree with you for sure. No question about that. Okay. Sure. Yeah, so this is what I would personally prefer. Typically events, what we could also do, no, I think that is fine. So I'm actually fine fully with that. I'm fine with that. I'm definitely fine with that. So one thing that's now a bit problematic, I believe, is that the sticky sidebar here, if the resolution is too small. So for example, if we go over here and then say responsive, and we go 920 by 1080 and we do 100%. Ah shit, shouldn't have done that, sorry for that. Yeah, so if we do that, so that's almost good, but no, actually that's fine. It's just the stickiness can actually break the site, and this your interest now is kind of, Alright, cool. I think that's good. I like this. I don't know what you guys think about these boxes, but I think they're very simplistic, which is the goal. Yeah, I think they're nice. I think they're nice. Maybe and we need to stop the propagation there, so you can also see, so there is that bug as well. So let's fix that as well. So if we go to upcoming event list, if we go to tomato pasta, thank you very much, man, for the follow. Upcoming events list, latest article card, Okay, so we have the username here, right? Which we want to make a link as well, a nav link, right? So, and we will do that, in fact. The only thing that I kind of dislike, so actually if I actually take a look at my anchor, this actually sucks. We shouldn't have been using anchor. Okay, we'll need to kind of revert that. That's fine. Okay, so we're gonna do the same here. We're gonna say, hey, you know what? We're gonna do a nav link as well. Yes, sure. But on click, we need to stop the event from bubbling, right? So we need to stop this propagation here. And in fact, if we now go back here, clicking on it should take you to the user, and it does. Very good. Users full bar 4. Yeah, this is probably because author full bar 4. Okay, wow, that's oh, never mind. All good, all good. There's no users. It's just we don't. That's a wrong URL. So if we go back here, should now take us there. That's good. Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe it's fine. Maybe we shouldn't. I'm wondering if we should highlight who the author is, but no, I think it's fine. When you hover, it kind of shows it. Okay, very good, very good. That's cool as well. Yeah, that's good. Okay. If we run the tests now, we're gonna just let the AI fix them. I have no interest in that, so let's just tell it run the. Let's actually create a new context. Run and fix tests for our. Yeah, that I will not do manually, even though we have to be very careful about what it writes. So we're gonna spend more time reviewing it and less time writing it, because we cannot write as fast as computer can. So. Let's see what happens. Let's see. Okay, so it's gonna run it. It's gonna, I think we made the 4 fail, which is kind of expected, because I saw that I removed some ID. We changed the structure. That's fine. It should take this AI not more than 20 seconds, because I'm sure that these are very simple. Yeah, it's just 4 of them failing, and that's mostly because we changed some of the markup. So let's make sure. And then I can deploy this most likely, and then we can blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I'm using cursor. It's a must, yeah. I think all of us have to use, we all have to use it, definitely. I agree with you. You have to use AI, you know, as it was your junior developer, right? So that's pretty much it. That's just use it, or just use as if it was your colleague, right? You still need to review things more than ever, because as you saw throughout this stream, it writes amazing stuff, but also it spits a lot of garbage that's useless. So my worry with AI is not bad code. I mean, it has been trained on the code written by people, and most code written by most people sucks anyway. So that's not my concern. My concern is that that it just fails in that sense. Its solutions that it writes are often way more complicated than they have to be, right? So this is the due diligence we have to do in order to keep it, not doing that. Yeah. We all do, man. I've been doing this job professionally for almost 20 years. And it helps me tremendously. So for someone to say that it doesn't help, you really have to be fucking stupid completely. Like, if AI doesn't help someone, then you're either have no idea what you're doing, or you're not using it in an honest way. Because it's absolutely insane to say that. Like, it just complete idiocracy. complete idiocracy. Like, all right, so tests for that are running. That's awesome. When you're using a private stack, you should not be using a private stack at the first place, right? So I think I agree with you, but you should not be building your internal tools. That's a massive product failure, unless there's an exact reason why, right? And there are certain reasons at certain times why you would want to do that, but for 99.9% of companies, you would never want to do that. That's like deliberately trying to fail your own company, right? So yes, that comment is true, right? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, actually, it's for sure. So you know, exactly. I agree. Actually, Sani, I agree. It's not. It's rarely developer's choice. It's a choice of either founders or whatever. And if you get a job there, you have to do it. But it's the founders or a CTO or whoever idea it was that they failed miserably there. Again, unless you're doing some military missile-guided software, right? Some embedded programming, right, or whatever, then building your own tools is the very start of your own demise, right? So you know, you never want to do that unless, again, you're doing something very, very special, right? But building your own frameworks and stuff, oof, one really has to be very brave to do that. Man, this already works. I accidentally do it all the time. I mean, if you do it for fun, man, if you find joy in it, sure. But it's so one of the worst. There's let me put it this way: there is nothing more egoistic in the context of engineering than assuming that one can build a tool that's better than a tool that is maintained and built by thousands of people, right? There's nothing more egoistic than that. Frameworks, libraries, they exist as a product of mutual knowledge gathered over the years of all people, not one person or whatever. So they exist as a product of learnings that we had over decades of building things. And then we realized, well, we cannot all be building routers or error handling solutions. It makes no sense. It makes hiring very difficult. It makes onboarding people very difficult. Imagine if every single company had its own tools. Literally, companies wouldn't exist. You go from company 1 to company B, everything's different. How you deal with X, Y, Z, whatever, right? But there's nothing more egoistic and junior. Like, no senior person would make an assumption that they can build a better tool than open source tools they're already using. So only someone deeply naive could make such an assumption. It's like, I can build a better tool than this, right? It's just absolutely insane, right? It's like saying I can build a better operating system. You know, why am I using Linux or Windows or Mac? Let me build my own. That is absolute insanity, right? It's yeah. So tools exist for many reasons, and they're all business related, right? Yeah, but don't Linus is a great guy and I'm sure he's a genius, but let's not praise him that much, right? Linus has started something, but there's thousands of people behind him who get very little praise, right? It's not that Linus has written the whole Linux kernel or whatever, right? There's thousands of people who contribute to that project, you know, or hundreds. I don't know how many people maintain that, right? So so of course he's a very good engineer, most likely, right? But he's the, he shouldn't be the only one who gets all that praise, right? I'm sure that there's many other people who contributed to that. No, of course. I mean, I have respect for all programmers, man. Doesn't matter. They don't have to create the Git protocol for that, right? I mean, there's many people who, but behind every open source project, there's thousands of people who never get any praise, right? And they do great things. The problem with that approach is that if you're referring to libraries and stuff, I mean, I mean, again, look, there's a fine line. There's a fine line there, right? There's a fine line there. If you, again, the thing is, right? One out of these projects. So I think I agree with you as well. I agree on that end as well. Yeah, it's true. It's true that we need people to push things forward, right? And sometimes some of the products we use today are the product of people like that, right? So all of the libraries and frameworks we have today are, many of them are a product of exactly what you're saying. I agree. But you really need to, it's a hard one, right? Because React was made at Facebook, right? Angular was made at Google, right? So these companies have billions of dollars of funds to invest internally into their tools. If you're not working at these companies and you don't have these companies behind you, the chances that you're going to create another of these things are so low that it's tragic, right? And if you're going to bet your company existence on it, I don't think you would, right? So if you look at all of these things we use today, most of them have been created with bunch of funding behind it, right? So if you don't have that funding and you're like, yeah, let's build a company and also in parallel, let's write our own tools, you're gonna fail 100%. It's 1,000,000%, because building a company already is hard enough. It's the hardest challenge of it all, let alone building tools in parallel to that, right? That's just absolutely insane. It's unimaginable, right? So if you don't have a company behind you that says, yeah, let's build our own, like, like Facebook has built, like a draft.js, their own internal text editor. They built React, of course, because it made sense for them. And then they realized, shit, this is not bad. Let's open source it and then get some help. But how many companies can afford that, right? Like 10 companies on the planet. So that is the main point, right? All right, so this is what we need to deploy. Yeah. Yeah, okay, let me just review this very quickly. So that's kind of what we already committed. Cursor pointer, sure. Tests are passing, we saw, very good. Latest article card, latest article list. We kind of updated typography. We should probably update. Yeah, let's just automate that with AI. So go through typography and add just so we can actually so for the future, like a future proofing, if you may. Future proofing. Dark Vaho. Thank you very much, man. Thank you for the follow. That's pretty cool. Okay. Sure. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I guess it decided to add the types first, I suppose. And then it's gonna update the props. Okay, cool. Yep. Sure, yes. All right, cool. That is what we wanted. Let's run the tests again. Cool. Alrighty, coming blah blah blah. We kind of unified some of the utils, unified all the exports, made the named exports all over the place. Very happy with that. Just gonna quickly skim through the stuff. Yeah, named exported that. Constructor, external link, sure. Yeah. Yes, yes. Nice, nice, nice. What we could do. What was it? Yeah. NVMRC. Yeah, sure, very good. Yeah, cool. Okay. Cyber, thank you very much, man, for the follow. Let's see if there's any major versions, right? So all of these are kind of minor versions, so there's no fear of breaking changes. The only thing that worries me is this thing. Let's go and check it out. Vtest GitHub. I need, because there. I would be skeptical if there were no breaking changes. So let's see. So 405, 43, blah 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 4. Okay, and then beta. Jesus Christ, man. Okay. Okay. Well. Oops. Ah, crap. Okay. Let's try. Let's try running the tests again, because we bumped the major version, so there's high probability of it failing. All right, it's fine. That was the only thing I believe that's. Tanak, of course. I mean, nobody is. I am not, right? I love to build companies and products and startups, right? I don't want to build tools, right? Nobody wants to do that. I agree with you. I mean, there's nothing really new there. Building tools has no value. Let me show you. Let me show you how that works, right? So this is. I'm sorry if I sound condescending or whatever. I'm not trying to be a know-it-all asshole, even though I am an asshole sometimes, like all of us. So let me show you one thing. So how do these tools work, and when do they make sense to update? Let me show you. So if we draw a little line, some like XY axis here, right? So if we do something like this, we have an X and we have a Y, right? So let me show you why technology adoption is so hard, right? So maybe let's talk about UI, but this applies to any technology subject. So let's say 10, 15 years ago or 20, we had things like, you know, obviously plain.js, like plain.js, jQuery, knockout.js, ember.js, we had AngularJS, we had you know, Polymer.js, and a bunch of other things, right? WordPress is not part of this. WordPress is still amazing, and WordPress still runs, 40% of the internet. So WordPress, there's nothing wrong with WordPress, right? WordPress is still amazing, and it solves the problems that it solves, right? So, and let's imagine we used a lot of these tools. Let's imagine 2010. This is arbitrary, right? And yeah, so they provided certain way of doing things, right? And then, but then eventually, right? AngularJS came out, and it made things, you could say significantly better. So we went. Where's the free? Like, is there a pen or something here that I can draw? Pen. Fuck's sake, man. How do I like? There was a okay. So yeah. So AngularJS came out, and we were here at one point, or this is where we were here, and then we went here. So this leap in building web UIs was massive. And I know, because I've been there, this has been massive. AngularJS, when it came out, it was not perfect. It sucked in many ways, but what it brought was finally some sort of I cannot call it standard. That would be a bad way to call it. But it brought some unification to the web. At least, it was something you could call a framework, right? So you could call it a framework. And this was sufficient enough for this to be great, because finally we had some ideas of how we want to build web, right? So we had dependency injection, modules, controllers, directives, blah blah blah, right? And then eventually, after a couple of years, we had the elephant in the room. Obviously, we got React, right? And this was another huge, massive leap in web, right? So we got here. And a lot of people shifted, including myself, right? But this was a significant leap. It was clear that we made progress, right? And now, what happened past 10 years or 5 or whatever? Well, now you have technologies which are also great, but leaps are not substantial. And no companies will invest billions of dollars to switch. So for example, today you have, Stencil.js, you have Svelte, right? You have Vue.js, all great libraries, all very capable libraries, right? But what is the problem with these libraries? Well, they don't provide this leap anymore, right? This is not the leap we want, right? So that we got. They're around here. You could even say, are they better than this? Maybe in some shape or form, worse in some others. But let's just say that they're kind of there. They're very close. They're not as far as we want them to be, right? And that is the problem, right? So when it comes to technology, we will not invest billions of dollars switching to these guys because they do something better. Because when you read what these things do better in theory, nobody cares about it. Oh, we do this at compile time. We do this. Nobody cares about this, man. Nobody cares about technological jargon or technological stories. Like, companies care about what is the actual benefit. Are my developers 5% more productive, 100%, or 300%, right? And if you don't get these new technologies to a vastly superior productivity, whatever, nobody will care. Because, like, if you say, oh, this thing renders 16 milliseconds faster, nobody cares. That's not a value. If you say, we do this at compile time, right? Your management doesn't even understand what this means. Again, nobody cares, right? So what people care is, like, how easy, how much simpler it is, and many other things that are relevant for the business, right? So you can add 5,000 of these, and you can keep building these things right now. Oh, I'm going to build my own library, and great, and you might do a great job. But you need to ensure that the next leap from here is again here, right? So whoever manages to achieve this, that's where we're going to say, fuck you, and you, and you, and you, and all of you, and you, right? Now there is whatever, bullshit.js, bullshit.js. And now we're all using this bullshit.js until another bullshit comes out, right? But this hasn't happened in a long time, right? This guy here is pretty stable. and it's doing well, right? You can like it, hate it, I don't care. I'm not a 16 years old, right? Nobody cares what you like. It's more about this thing works, and that's why it's still the most popular currently UI library on the planet, because it's easy, it works, it has huge community, and now we're waiting for these guys to keep coming out until they reach the bullshit JS, so we can say, you know, fuck you, now we're moving to this, right? So this is the problem of technology and adoption. You don't adapt, you don't embrace a new technology because it's 3% better, 5% better, right? But I don't think that, I keep getting this argument, Crispy, about, I don't think that people are using fancy technology. No senior programmer is switching these libraries every year. So this is just a content creators bullshitting maybe some of you younger people. None of us are switching to any technologies, right? So this is a lie. Like when you read these things, like, yeah, like JavaScript frameworks come out every day. That's true. So does many others, but nobody switches to that. I have switched to this 10 years ago, to this thing for the UIs, and I'm still using it. And there's not even remotely anything close to me that I'm thinking to switch to, right? So just know that switching type of, switching to these things, that doesn't exist. You hear that maybe from content creators trying to sell you shit, whatever. No. Senior developers don't switch to anything. We have pretty defined stacks that we use, and of course, am I saying don't learn other things? Of course I'm not saying that. Learn everything that you can, and it's good to know all of them, but nobody is switching to anything, right? These stacks are pretty stable, and people don't care if something new came out, right? Yeah. So that's kind of that. Let me actually switch. My son is calling me. Actually, my children and my wife are calling me. So we'll need to round up soon. So, but very nice chats. This is kind of my take always. No bullshit. I try to keep it as real as possible. And this is what I genuinely believe. So learn something well. Make sure that it's popular, because that's going to give you a job. Nobody cares about anything else. You know, is this technology that I'm using required on the job market? Yes, learn it. No, don't learn it, or learn it for your own sake to learn new patterns, new ideas, new ways of doing things, but learn the things that can benefit you short term and long term. This is common sense. So if you go and see on LinkedIn and type React, whatever, Golang, Rust, and you see amount of jobs, this should be your driver of what to learn, not some random YouTuber who never actually had a job and just records videos from his fucking basement. This should not be your guiding star, right? So that's how it works. C# is amazing. Whole .NET is, .NET is a safe bet. C# is a great language, yes. Definitely safe to learn. Definitely safe to learn, I would say, Crispy, for sure. Yep. .NET, I love a lot of languages. I love PHP, I love .NET, I love JavaScript, is probably my favorite language. I love Go. Go is my probably first or second language in the list. I love a lot of languages. They all do great in certain things. PHP scales horizontally really well. Go is amazing for distributed services, for building highly efficient things. So a bunch of these technologies, you know, do many things in a good or less good way, but all of them are great for pretty much for most companies and most people, right? So, but I would say Crispy, yes. C# and ASP.NET generally is very popular here in Scandinavia, especially in Sweden. So that's I would definitely say, yeah, learn that, because many, I would say even most companies here in Denmark also write .NET as well. So also very safe to bet on that. All right, my friends, thank you very much for being here. I gotta go spend the rest of the day with my wife and kids, and I'll thank you again for being here, for spending some Sunday with me. I hope you learned something new and had some fun. And thank you for those of you who take the time to send a message or two in chat. It's always more engaging for me, and you know, makes me come back to stream. In Italy, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Every region has its own stack, so that's why I say always make sure to check depending where you are. Thank you very much, guys. I wish you well. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you guys another time. Peace out, everybody. Bye bye. Ciao.